Hello, this is Ray Main here again with today's Bible reading. Today we're going to be reading in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 10. Now I, Paul, myself, beseech you by the meekness and gentleness of Christ, who in presence am base among you, but being absent am bold toward you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some, which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringeth into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Do ye look on things after the outward appearance? If any man trust to himself that he is Christ, let him of himself think this again, that as he is Christ, even so are we Christ. Even though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, which the Lord hath given us for edification, and not for your destruction, I should not be ashamed, that I may not seem as if I would terrify you by letters. For his letters say they are weighty and powerful, but his bodily presence is weak, and his speech contemptible. Let such an one think this, that as such as we are in word by letters when we are absent, such will we be also in deed when we are present. For we dare not make ourselves of the number, or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves amongst themselves, are not wise. Let me pause right here for just a second. Scripture says that in a multitude of counselors there's safety. There's a lot of people that I've had them come by our church and say something on this order. I have no need of any man to tell me what's going on or tell me anything about God, because God speaks to me personally, and in other words, me and God got our own thing going. I don't need nothing or nobody else. Well, I'm going to tell you something right here. When all you've got to compare yourself to is yourself, the Bible says there in another place, there are spirits many. There are a lot of spirits that are loose in this world, and I'm not talking about the occult or witchcraft or anything like that, but all of those spirits are in men. But we can get so caught up in ourself, thinking that we're so right about things, if we're not careful, that God himself can't even talk to you, and you'll lead yourself all down the garden path, if you will, and you'll miss out. So don't measure yourself by yourself. You need to be amongst God's people. You need to listen to others and consider and see, test. The Bible says, God said, try me and see. We're supposed to try the spirits to see whether they be of God or not. And folks, I'm not want to hurt anybody's feelings, but you can't do that by yourself. Okay? But we will not boast of things without our measure, but according to the measure of the rule which God hath distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. For we stretch not ourselves beyond our measure, as though we reach not unto you. For we are come as far as to you also in preaching the gospel of Christ, not boasting of things without our measure, that is, of other men's labors, but having hope, when your faith is increased, that we shall be enlarged by you according to our rule abundantly, to preach the gospel in the regions beyond you, and not to boast in another man's line of things made ready to our hand. But he that glorieth, let him glory in the Lord. For not he that commendeth himself is approved, but whom the Lord commendeth. There's another scripture, I can't think offhand right where it's at, but consider this with this. For not he that commendeth himself is approved, but whom the Lord commendeth. Said, humble yourself. This is the scripture. Humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, that he might exalt you in due time. You don't have to pat your own self on the back. Either you've got it or you don't. And I'm going to tell you something. You don't have it outside of God. You don't have it outside of the Lord. So don't commend yourself. Let the Lord do it through others. Okay? God bless. Have a beautiful day.